तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्वसे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second Canto, 9th chapter, beginning from verse number 16. Sri Sukadeva Goswami is continuing to explain the vision of Brahma as an answer to the questions raised by Parikshit Maharaj. And in the last few verses, he explained how Brahma got the vision first of Lord's planet, and then about the devotees, and finally he saw Lakshmi Devi, and then the Lord. So it's like he wants to focus on the Lord, but first the big picture, and then he's focusing, zooming in. So now in this particular verse, in the previous verse also it was described how Lord was appearing very beautiful, smiling and gracing the devotees with his glance, and he was wearing his regular dress. It doesn't change. Only the standard dress he has, yellow, and ornaments. And in this particular verse, more is described about him. Says Adhyaharni yasanam astitam param vritam chatushodasa pancha shaktibihi yuktam bhagaihi svairittaratra chadhruvaihi Svaiva-dhaman Ramamanamishwaram. Brahma saw that Lord, he was sitting on a very beautiful seat, throne, and he was surrounded by various types of energies which were 4 in number, 16 and 5 in number, so 25. And these energies, they are part of his Swarupa, so they were eternally with him, and sometimes they may manifest in other people but not eternally. Adhruva itaratra Swaiva dhaman rammanam ishwaram. And that Lord, he was glorious in his own abode, in his own potency, not depending on anybody else. So this whole description is like a trailer. It's like they make these advertisements, and if some country wants to advertise about or promote tourism, then they will bring out nice shots of different resorts or some beautiful buildings, lakes, mountains of that country, people, and show. So you see it, then you become interested in going there. So this description is also being given in the same manner, like a small peek into the spiritual world, so that after hearing this, there is some interest developed that we want to go there. So that's why he said that there is no economic crisis there. Then he said there is no fear. Here in the material world, there is always fear of losing our property, our wealth. Or if we don't have, then we have the fear how we will survive. So economic problem is a very big problem now in the modern times, because we have made our life very complicated. In the Arthashastra, Chanakya says that one should keep a balance between dharma, artha and kama. He's not talking about moksha. But even to live peacefully in the society, in this world, he says that one should have a balance of moral discipline, earning wealth and enjoying. And then he says that if you enjoy one thing more than the other, or you give stress more to one of the three, then it will destroy the other two. So if you become highly religious and don't do anything to make money, then you will be poor, and you will also not be able to enjoy. Unless of course you become a sadhu, that is another thing, that people may give you some dakshina or charity. But if a common person does not work, then he will be a beggar. And if one is only after making money, many people do, they are just making money and they have no time to enjoy. They become so much absorbed in making money that they have no good digestion, so they cannot eat. So the servants are enjoying. Many times I have seen in India that these rich people, they have houses in all the big places, and they make beautiful houses with all the facility, and only the servants live there, because the master can live only in one place, cannot be everywhere, and he doesn't live anywhere because he has to do business to maintain all these houses. So he's just busy making money. And the servants, they are strong, healthy, they enjoy.
Master's not around, so they're enjoying.
Yes. So, and then if you just give too much stress for enjoying, then you lose health, you lose your money also if you don't earn. So that will create a problem, and it will breed corruption. Because if you just want to enjoy and you don't earn money, then corruption comes. Because corruption means how to get money without working. That's what corruption means. And people don't want to work. If you see in India, then they don't want to work, but they want to get money. So then everybody asks for bribe, and if not that, then everybody is wearing some ring. So why people want to wear ring? That I don't need to work, but I should get the money. Or some puja or something. So Krishna says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have to work. And he says he is also working. So when the mentality comes that I want the fruit without working, Krishna is saying that work, don't bother about the fruit. And people now in India are thinking just the opposite of that. Don't work, just get the fruit. So this is the root cause of corruption. Not listening to what Krishna is saying, but doing just the opposite. If people start doing what Krishna is saying, then there is no question of corruption. It will be uprooted. And people will be happy. Because nobody is happy with this corruption. Even those people who are getting the benefit of corruption, they are also in fear. Just today I was reading in the Hindi newspaper that some 12 big police people, DIG, rank, who were like in charge of not one but few districts. So there is a court case against them for corruption. Of course they were DIG in the previous government and now Mayavati. So she will bring them to court. So they had enjoyed bribery, but now they have to pay the price. It's infamy first of all, bad name, and they will go to prison. So this is what corruption does. So if people give too much stress only to enjoying, then it leads to corruption and it kills dharma. So that is also happening to the economy in America, because this capitalism is based on consumerism. Capitalism means that you can own capital, private property, and you can produce, sell and make profit. So everybody is free to do that. In communism that was not allowed. So in capitalism that is allowed. So everybody wants to do business. Everybody is trying to do some business. Whether it is dharma, then do business with dharma. If it is kama, do business with kama also. If it is moksha, do business with that also. Everything is reduced to business now. If you analyze, then the outcome of everything is making money. Everybody is having this idea how to make money, because this is capitalism. We are born in that. So, and capitalism means selling. Now if you have to sell, somebody has to buy. So there is no need to buy, and yet you have to sell, so you have to make advertisement. So big industry for advertising. And by advertising you create greed in people's mind. And then when they become greedy, and of course you don't have the means, this is also leads to corruption. You don't have the mean, but you have the desire to have products. So then you do something illegal. You sell drugs, or you steal, or you do robbery, whatever. So, yes.
They have these Christian televangelists. They're on almost like 24 hours, and they speak to the watchers of their TV shows about sending in so much money for prayer handkerchiefs and prayer cloths, and that's how they also generate money. And they'll say, just touch your screen, and you'll feel the Lord moving in your heart, and you feel that, then send so much to this ministry, that ministry, and people are actually doing it.
Yeah, because now you can send the mercy through the various. It's going disseminating the grace through. When Jesus Christ himself was there, he has to go personally to get the grace. If he had the TV channel, he would have blessed everybody. So this is happening, and then of course government also has to promote this consumerism, because economic growth depends on consumerism. When people consume products, then they are produced then there is jobs for people. So the whole economy depends on consumption. So they are giving bank loans, but there is a limit to it, because there is no end to consumption. You can consume any amount. Because Yayati says in Bhagavatam that all the gold, all the women, all the grain of this world are not enough for one person who is dissatisfied. And now we are trained to be dissatisfied, because if you become satisfied, then economy will collapse. Economy runs on dissatisfaction. More you are dissatisfied, more economy will boom. Only thing is that it cannot go on booming, and that is because resources are limited. So somewhere or other it has to end. So now that's what is happening. It has come to an end. The banks gave so many loans, people bought houses when they didn't have the money. So if you are getting the loan and you have the desire to have the house, now why not have it? And now you cannot pay. So then what happened? The bank also collapsed, and you also lost your house. So people are living in tents in America now, and the banks lost jobs. So this is what Chanakya Pandit said, that if you just give stress to karma, which means consumption, then it will kill artha, and your economy will collapse. And of course there is no question of dharma, they don't even talk. The whole capitalism is about artha and kama. So this is bound to create problem. So the solution for this is Bhagavatam. So it is giving advertisement of another place, that if you really want to go on vacation, then go to Vaikuntha. People go on vacation, but they have to spend money there, and when they come back from there, then they are bankrupt, and they have to work hard. So Sukadeva Goswami says that you go to Vaikuntha and you have no economic problem at all, because everything is eternal there. You have no fear. He said these things, that there was no Maya and no delusion, and there was no misery. So this is the whole idea. They also have their system of advertising. Vyasdev. But he is advertising for the right purpose. These advertisements here, they are false. Most of these advertisements, they 90% tell lies. Maybe 10% is the truth. Because there is nothing like that. They get some nice, beautiful looking people, generally women, and that product has nothing to do with that beauty or strength or whatever. So this psychologically they have done research that when people, especially men, they see a beautiful woman, then they lose their discrimination. Because when karma is there, then there is moha, delusion. And when delusion is there, then they don't think whether I really need this product or I don't need, then they buy. So this is the philosophy of advertisement. So they have also done advertisement like this, talking about apsaras and beautiful women in the heaven, and do this sacrifice. So people are doing austerities to go to heaven, but he is not talking about that. He is talking about a place which is beyond heaven, because from heaven also you have to fall down. So here he says that Lord was there and he is smiling, he is full of love, and he was looking at the devotees, and devotees were very happy. Jagashavam prasanna hasarana yojnanam pritya prasadam. And this is what is completely satisfying. Because after all, why we need money? Because we want some happiness. money itself is not happiness. It is only a means, and that is also not very sure. There was one rich person, big businessman. He was not rich to begin with. He worked very hard and he thought that when he will have money he will be happy. So he became very rich. But then he realized still he was not happy. There was always some problem was there. So he had a son, and one day he was sitting with his son and he was telling that, my son, you should know that money is not everything in life. You should also learn some other things. And don't think that money gives happiness. So the son did not accept. He says, no, I don't agree with you. He says, why? I am telling you from my own experience that money does not give happiness. So son said that I agree that money does not give happiness, but one thing money gives is that you have the choice how to choose misery. Says when you are poor, you suffer, but you have no choice. When you have money, you can make choice whether you want to suffer here, you want to suffer in the Himalayas, you want to suffer in Goa, or you want to suffer somewhere else. So, but if you are a poor man, you have to just suffer in Vrindavana. So he says, I understand that, but let's have the choice. But Vaikuntha was described as Vyapeta Sanklesha, Moha Sadvasam, that is free from all misery. Because real misery is forgetting our relationship with God and Krishna. And in Vaikuntha there is no question of forgetting. So there is always happiness. So that's why this description is being given, and it is very nice. Actually, we should make a video out of it. It will be a very nice video, and then we can show that this is how Vaikuntha looks like, so people will become interested in going there. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he comments, he says, Chatasraha Shaktayo Dharmadya, that 4, because he said there are 4, there are 16 and there are 5. So he is commenting on what 4 means. So he says 4 refers to Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So Lord is complete, he is the master of Dharma, he is Lakshmi Pati, he has got all the Lakshmi with him, and he is Artha, he has all his desires fulfilled, and he is Mukunda, he is the giver of liberation. So all these 4 things personified were standing there. Padme Vaikunthiya Yogapitha Varnane Taeva Uktaha. So from where he got this, he says that in Padma Puran there is a description of Lord's Yogapitha. And there it is described that Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha personified are standing there. Yatha, as he quotes this, Dharma, Jnana, Balashwarya, Vairagya, Pada Vigrahi, Riga Yaju, Samatharvana, Nityam, Dhritam Kramat, Iti Shodas Shaktayas Chandadya. So he talked about that there is Dharma, there is Jnana, there is Bal, there is Ashwarya, there is Vairagya. So these are the 6 things which are standing there around the Lord, and 4 could also refer to Rig, Yaju, Sam and Atharva, the 4 Vedas personified. And then 16 refers to the 16 potencies which are called Chanda, etc. Chandadya, Yatha Tatreva, Chandadi Dwarpalischa, Kundadesha Rakshita, Nagriti Purvena Anva. So these are the gatekeepers standing. So their names are given as Te Chanda Prachando Pragdware Yamye Bhadra Subhadrakau. So there are 8 directions for Major ones, east, west, north, south, and then the 4 in between them. So there are 2 gatekeepers on each direction. So there he says that on the eastern side there is Chanda and Prajanda, and south there is Bhadra Subhadraka. In the west Varunyam Jaya Vijay, there is Jaya and Vijay. In the western side Soumya Dhatri Vidhatara, and in the north there is Dhatri, Dhata and Vidhata. And Kumudha Kumdhaksascha Pundariko Athavamana Shanku Karna Sarvanetra Sumukha Supratishthita Ete Dikpatiya Prokta Puriya Mitra Shashodhana. Then there are Kumudha Kumdaksha Pundarik Vaman Shanku Karna Sarvanetra Sumukha and Supratishthita. So this makes total of 18. And then 5 Panchashaktayaha, these are Kurma, etc. So Yatha Tatraiva, in Padma Purana it is mentioned, Kurmascha Nagarajascha Venateyastra Ishvara Chandansi Sarva Mantrascha Pithanupatvam Ashrita. So there is Kurma, there is also Nagaraj, Sheshanag, there is Garuda, who is known as Traishvara, or the master of the Trayi, the Vedas, and Chandansi, the mantras, all the mantras and the chandas. So these 5, they are holding the throne of the Lord. So in India, when we make some building, so we do puja, and in the foundation we keep kurma and one snake. So these are supposed to be holding. Some time back there was one article in newspaper, and I kept it. Then somebody has found out, or they did research, that inside the earth there are some snakes. So they're supposed to hold it. So here also it is described that there is kurma. Kurma is very stable. It holds the earth, and there is Nagaraj, Sheshanag, and Venataya. Garuda. Garuda is also supposed to be the personification of the Vedas, because he has 2 wings when he flies, and then the mantra is coming out of them, Sam Veda. So they are holding the throne of the Lord. Traishvara iti Venataya Visheshanam. The word Traishvara, master of the 3, which means master of Rik, Sham and Yajurveda, these 3 Vedas, it is an adjective of Garuda. Chatasraha Prakriti Purush Mahad Ahankar Rupa. Now he gives another explanation also. He says the 4 can also refer to Prakriti, Purusha, Mahad and Ahankar. Because in Sankhya there is Prakriti and there is Purusha. And from Prakriti comes Pradhan Tattva and Ahankar. So the 4 could refer to these 4. And Shodasha, 16, it will refer to Ekadash Indriya and Panchamahabhut. 5 working senses, 5 cognitive senses, mind, and 5 material elements. So 16. So this is the personification of the Sankhya elements over there. And Panch Tanmatra, the 5 refers to the 5 Tanmatras. So that makes 25 elements of Sankhya. Saktayo yastabhir vritamiti Swami Charananam Vyakhya. This is how Sridhar Swami has explained. Cha na asangata mayapi tatra mehadadi visaya bhaktim kurvana tishtati eva. So Sridhar Swami says that these 4, 16 and 5 are referring to the 25 elements of Sankhya. So now the question may come that earlier it was said that there is no Maya there. So now you are saying that these elements are existing and these are elements which are related to Maya. So how come Maya is there? So he says this is nothing wrong with it. Maya is there but as a devotee. And all these Mahat, Ahankar, personified, they are all devotees there. They are spiritual beings, not material elements. So Bhaktim Kurvana Tishtati eva. All these also exist there while performing service to the Lord. Because in Vaikuntha also there is water, there is also fire, there is also earth, there is also air. People there also have mind, they also have senses. So these elements are also there, but there are devotees. Here we have these elements, they are inert matter, and when they are functioning, they are not devotees. They are only running for the external sense objects. Paranchi khani vetinat swayambhu parang pashyati nantaratman kaschit dhira pratyagatmana akshat avrit chaksha. So here our senses, they are only running externally, means away from the Lord. They don't turn towards the Lord. Whether our eyes, nose, they are just looking for enjoyment. But there, the senses, the mind, they are devoted to God. So devotee senses are always thinking of God. Mind is fixed on Krishna. The senses think. The ears, they want to hear about Krishna. Eyes want to see Krishna. Nose want to smell the flowers offered to Krishna. So the senses are also devotees there. This is the meaning that all the elements exist while performing bhakti along with Maya. So in that sense there is nothing wrong. त्रिपाद विभूत है स्वरूप शक्ति मय्य तस्या सर्व शक्ति आश्रित्वात्. So Tripad Vibhuti is the Swarup Shakti, the internal potency of the Lord, and it is the shelter of all other Shaktis. Because here in the material world, everything is happening by the energy, the internal energy. Because the soul's energy is also coming from the Lord. And then only it is possible to function here. Without Lord's help, the soul cannot function. So that's why it is described that in the beginning, in the creation, and it will again come in the third canto, Kapila will speak about it, that when this universal form was created, and after the form was created, then the senses entered into it. The eyes entered, the ears, but the body did not function. Everything entered. But still it did not become active. It's only when Lord entered, then it became active. So the meaning is that whatever is happening here, in this material world, it is happening because of Lord's internal energy. So this is the meaning that there is only one Advaitattva. Meaning is that there is only one principle which is independent. The other tattvas are not denied, but they are not independent. They cannot function without the Advaita, that supreme principle whom we call as Bhagavan, or we give three names to it: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavanati, Shamyati. So without that, it does not work. So in that sense also it is explained that Maya is there, but Maya is also dependent on internal energy. नेत्र माया किमता परे हरे रित्यत्र माया महदादि विक्रमो जीव मोहन रूपस्तत्र नास्ति काल विक्रम पद सहचर्याद व्याख्या. So again, as it was said, na tatra kala vikrama, and there is no influence of time there. So it does not mean that time is not there, but the influence, which means influence of destroying things, that is not there. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that just as it is said that there is no influence of time, and before that it was said that there is no Maya, there is no Sattva, there is no Rajas, there is no Tamas. So he says there also we should understand that there is no influence of them. And there is no influence of Maya and Kimuta Apare and the others, which means the products of Maya. They exist there, but they don't influence in the sense of bewildering the living beings. As they are bewildering the living beings here in the material world, they don't bewilder them, but they perform devotion service. So this is the one of the characteristic of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, that the spiritual world and material world, which are described as two distinct creations, one is on the other side of Vrija river as we have been reading, and the material world is this side of the Vrija river, but then slowly what they do is that they bring them together. Because now they are saying that all this exists there but does not have an influence. And Vaikuntha also exists here but not having influence here. So Vaikuntha is also not influencing this place, although it is there. So in the same way the material world is also there, the material elements are there, but they don't influence. So it's like two parallel existences, but one is not influencing the other. And the influence is possible of the higher over the lower if we follow the process which was followed by Brahma. Then the spiritual creation starts influencing, at least for that particular person. It doesn't influence everybody, unless Lord desires that. So therefore he says, Maya Mahdadi Vikramo Jiva Mohan Rupas Tatra Nasti Iti Kala Vikram Pada Sahacharyad Vyakya. But here it was said that there is no influence of time. So by that it is to be understood that other things also don't have influence there. Only they exist. Ateva Vakshate Manju Mahima Darshane Chaturvinstibhistattvai Parita Mahedadibhiriti. Therefore, he says it will be described later on, where the beautiful glory of the Lord was seen by Brahma in the 10th canto. When Brahma has stolen the calves and he realized that he has made a mistake. So when he came down to see the Lord and he saw that Lord Krishna was still sitting with his cowherd friends and eating lunch as he had left him 1 year ago. Although he has stolen the calves and has stolen the cowherd boys, but he saw everything same. So then he realized that Krishna is God. And then when he was looking at Krishna, then what happened, that suddenly all these cowherd boys, they turned into Vishnu forms. Every one of them became Vishnu with 4 hands and all the paraphernalia and associates. So in that description it is stated that every Vishnu form was being worshipped by the 24 tattvas, which means Prakriti, Mahatattva, mind, 11 senses, 5 tanmatras and 5 material gross elements. So all these 24 were personified. So Vishnu Chakravarti says that this shows that all the elements are existing there. Otherwise why they were shown to worship Vishnu. So Parita Mahedadi Bhiriti Swair Bhagai Swabhavikair Aishwaradibhi Itratra Brahmadishu Adhruvair Agantukair Naswarai. And Lord, he was surrounded by all these opulences which were natural in him. They were not something which he has acquired. So he says that other people like Brahma or the devas like Indra, they also have a lot of opulence. They are not ordinary people. But their opulence is not natural to them. It is acquired and therefore it can also be taken away. Because they are adhikari devatas. They are like appointed for certain period and then they get this power. So Lord's power is not like that. And Swe Swarupa eva dhamani vaikuntha. So Lord, he was relishing in his own abode. So that means when Brahma saw him, it's not that he saw him in this world, but Brahma saw him in his own abode, that Lord was situated in Vaikuntha, because he is always situated in his own planet. So then the next verse says, तद्दर्शनालाद परिप्लुतान्तरो हृष्य तनु प्रेम भराशुलोचनः ननाम पादाम्बुजमस्य विश्वसे यत्पारमहंसेन पथाधिगम्यते. Says that when Brahma saw this, then his heart was full of alad, transcendental bliss. Tad darshan alhada pariplutantam. It was completely overflooded with happiness. So much that then it became manifest externally. Hrishattanu, and his body was also happy, and prema bharashya. Then his eyes were full of tears of love. So tears come in misery, they also come in happiness. It is described in the Sahitya that there are two types of tears. When they come in out of misery, they are hot. And when they come out of bliss, then they are cool. So this is manifestation from inside. And it was not something just dream, it was not imagination, it was real. It was not that sometimes people take some intoxicants and they can also have the vision. That is not the type of vision he is having. It was real. He was actually connected to the Lord's abode and he was seeing him directly. So that's why he was full of love and happy. Nanam padambujamasya vishvasri. So then what he did that, because he had tears in his eyes and obviously his voice was choked, you can understand that. So he could not speak anything. So what he did that he just bowed down to the feet of the Lord. Could not utter any words. And yat paramhansena pathadigamyate. So how did he bow down? Says that process which is followed by the Paramhansas. So that is the process, which means the process of devotion. Because Paramhansa here is a devotee Paramhansa, not an impersonalist. Because impersonalist person is not going to have tears in the eyes. This does not fit in their program. They don't manifest any symptoms of love because there is non-duality. So there is no question of love. Even if they have Brahmananda, then they don't manifest ecstatic symptoms. So this is possible only for the devotees, because this is manifestation of love. Prema bhara sulochana. So much love that love was flowing out of the eyes. This is the meaning of prema bhara, means overfull. Like if put a pot and fill it and overflows. So love was actually overflowing. He could not contain it, and it came through the eyes and into the body. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti said that Paramhansa Bhaktaha. Said Paramhansa means the devotees here. Priyaha Paramhansanam ityatra tatha vyakhyana. Because in the 5th canto there is a mention of Bhagavat Paramhansa Daita Kathamiti. There is a mention of Bhagavat Paramhansa. So this Paramhansa here is also Bhagavat Paramhansa. Panchmoktescha tesham bhava paramhansam. And the mood of a Paramhansa is called Paramhansa, which is mentioned here, Paramhansena, and that is love, bhakti. So bhakti yoga tena patha. So it is described here that Brahma was able to see the Lord only because of this process of bhakti yoga. Otherwise it is not possible to see the Lord like this. And this love is not something which is manifestation of sattva. There was one great impersonalist, Madhusudan Saraswati. He wrote one book called Bhakti Rasayanam. You read that? So he has, because bhakti became very popular, Lord Chaitanya came. So he also commented on Bhagavatam and also wrote a book about bhakti, trying to explain that how bhakti is secondary to Gyan, of course. So, and how bhakti comes by meditation on Brahman. So he has given an explanation that bhakti is nothing but when the chitta vritti, when you are meditating on God and your heart takes the shape of the God's form, then Bhagavad Akara Vritti Bhakti. This is the definition he gives. And because the sattva, heart is also called sattva. Sattva anurupasya sarvasya sraddha bhavati bharata, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. That you have sraddha according to your heart, which is called sattva. So one word for heart is also sattva, and sattva is also the sattva guna. Because heart is supposed to be made predominantly by sattva guna. It is part of my tattva, which is predominantly in sattva, therefore it is also called sattva. So he says that when sattva is there, it is very soft and it can melt, and by melting it can take the shape. If you are meditating on Krishna and you naturally by meditation, by following the process of sadhana bhakti, your heart becomes purified. And when it becomes purified, which means it is in very high level of sattva, sattva guna, no rajas, tamas, then it becomes soft like lac when it is melted. So it melts and then it solidifies and takes the shape of whatever you meditate on. So he says that's how people have darshan of God. So they have all described like that. So that is not the meaning of Paramahansa here or Bhakti here. This Bhakti is the internal potency of the Lord. Therefore, he explains that the word Paramahansa here means Bhakti Yoga. Why is that? Because Krishna says Bhaktiyaham ekya grahya, that I can be attained only by bhakti, not by jnana. It is not possible to see Krishna without bhakti. Bhaktiyaham ekya grahya, only. Ekya means alone, not by anything else. So Bhaktiyam abhijanati. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita also that I am known only by bhakti. So he reveals only because of bhakti. And that's why the word Paramhansena Pathadigamyate, the Lord who is known by Patha, path of Paramhansa Bhakti Yoga. That Lord became manifest to Brahma. And then it was not that he just saw the Lord. Lord was very pleased with him. Says tam priyamanam samupastitam tada praja visarge nijasashanarhanam babhasai smita socishagira priya priyam pritamana kare sprishan. Says that Lord, he saw Brahma and he understood that Brahma was qualified to perform the creation, Praja Visarga, Nijasasana. He will follow his order. And Brahma had love for the Lord, so therefore he also, with great love and affection, with his mind full of love, Pritamana, he spoke the following words while smiling and touching Brahma's hand. So Lord was so much full of love for Brahma that he came and he touched him. And then he spoke, which we will describe in our common verses. So Praja Visarge Karye Nirsasanam Arhati Tam. He understood that Brahma is a qualified person. And it is obviously a great joy if you can find a person who is qualified to do some work for you. So Lord, he realized or understood that Brahma is actually qualified. And why is he qualified? He will explain this himself. Why he feels that Brahma is qualified. Because Nijasasanam Arham. He followed the order. If you want someone to do something for you, then not that the person is going to speculate himself and you want him to make Ganesh and he makes a monkey. So Vinayakam Vikurvana Rachya Masavana. So that is only possible if the person will follow the instructions. And because Brahma already followed, even without seeing the Lord, when he heard the sound tapa tapa, just by hearing the sound, then he followed instructions. So then naturally he will follow if Lord is going to tell him directly now. That's why he was very confident and happy. And thus he was smiling. Ishat smitena shochir deeptir yasya tathagira. So while smiling and with very sweet voice and touching the hand of Brahma, then he will instruct him in the upcoming verses, which we will read tomorrow.
Should not be amazing that these all these tattvas are present in the spiritual abode. We only perceive it in that way because we're looking from this perspective, as if this is the reality. But in fact, that is the reality, and this is just a reflection. What is amazing is that the whole spiritual world is reflected here, except that it's like a dream. It's not. It's real, but it's not real.
Yeah, it is reflected, but also not completely reflected. but everything is not reflected. Yeah, it's very interesting that how things are real and not real at the same time. They exist, but if you try to analyze them, then there's nothing inside. It's really amazing, it's quite interesting.
There have been many.
It will be interesting to see these elements there.
I was thinking as you were speaking that, in a sense, like seeing all this, aside from just the extraordinary mercy of having this revelation of the spiritual abode, but seeing all these different energies of the Lord, all the different tattvas, in a sense was like a blueprint for creation, because the material creation is going to reflect, all of this.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. That he saw this and he's going to use them.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing is he's going to use them in such a way that they look real, but there's nothing inside.
I was also wondering about these terms, Ekapad Vibhuti and Tripad Vibhuti, because when I first heard them, it just seems like it's giving a proportionate, that the spiritual world is 3/4, the material world is only 1/4. But it seems to be referring to something, more deep than that.
Yeah, obviously it cannot be 3/4, 1/4 in the mathematical sense. Because on one side when you say that Vaikuntha is unlimited, where is the 3/4 of that? Because 3/4 of that will also be unlimited. And then you say material world is also unlimited, unlimited universe. So everything is unlimited, so 3/4, 1/4. So I think it is from the point of view of importance, from Lord's point of view, that gives more importance to his internal affairs and less importance to this side. Although he is not completely negligent on this. But naturally, as it is said that Ramana Svaiva Ramana Ishwaram, that he is enjoying himself there. And partially comes here also. So I think from that point of view, you can say that it is 1/4. It's like you have your house, and then you may have your, like some storeroom. So you keep more interest in your drawing room and your bedroom. In that storeroom also once in a while you go. So I think in that sense, not that physically 1/4 and 3/4. It's also to signify that you should not think that Lord is just manifest as this universe and there is nothing beyond that. So it's also to give the concept that he is manifest here, but he is also much more than this.
There doesn't seem to be much discussion on this, does there? Like analysis of what these terms might refer to.
Just have now come across any.
I mean, at first glance, it may seem that if the Absolute is non-dual awareness, that how can it have energy? It seems like a logical contradiction.
Yeah.
But
That's
unless
right.
you accept that the Absolute has energy, internal energy, then you can't account for, you have to come up with the conclusion of Madhusudana and Sarasvati and so many other impersonalist sages They can't account for any variety, other than to say it's a product of sattva.
And that's how they explain. Whereas if you try to see it logically, it doesn't fit. So of course, that's why there are so many statements and pastimes of the Lord to show that everything is not logical. There is also things which are beyond logic, not illogical. There is illogical things, logical things, and translogical things. So that is also there. And that is the beauty of God. Otherwise you will also become limited by logic. And whatever he does, it has to be logical. So that is the greatness. So that's why Asintya Kaluye Bhavana Pranstarkya. If you want to understand it, somewhere we have to give up logic. So they try to explain everything. Logically, of course, they also cannot explain Maya. Because for them Maya is also Anadi. Jiva is also Anadi. The bondage is also Anadi. And yet there is only Brahman. So these types of illogical problems they also have.
Is that like saying true logic? Like true love lacks logic?
Not that it lacks logic,
A sense of
it has logic, but also beyond logic.
Beyond logic.
It's not that it is illogical. It has logic, but not just logic only.
It's like a higher mathematics.
Otherwise, then intelligence will have no function. So that's also not true.
Brahma is a living soul. Brahma is living like man. But he know his Svarupa when he see Krishna. Or he speak like man, or he speak like maybe some Gopi, Manjari.
No, he's speaking like Brahma.
Brahma is intensification with body.
No Gopi Manjari. Otherwise he's not going to do his job.
But no, he have not full knowledge about his soul, Svarupa. When he have contact with Krishna and become
You
Krishna.
can have that knowledge, but he's also Brahma.
And this is together, right? But I'm interested in what Parupa for must open only spiritual master, or this is can open during devotee service, and how many years we must make service that
1,000 divine years, Divya. Then you will know your sorrow. Then it will be revealed to you by God Himself.
Well, this is kind of my question. So Brahma, he was so, he had to make such an incredible endeavor to please Krishna, all his tapa. So what about the ordinary jiva? What is our possibility and our chance to actually please Krishna? Because we do not have these facilities as Brahma has.
Well, he is going to talk about that for sure in the upcoming verses. But the point is this, that everybody has to perform practice, spiritual practice or service according to their capability. So God is not comparing like Brahma did for 1,000 Divya Varsha, divine years, which is something like 3,60,000 or 3.6 million something years. So now we also have to do that much. It's not necessary. It's what is our ability. We use that sincerely. So real thing is sincere surrender. So Brahma, of course, he has also big lifetime. If we compare to his lifespan, it is nothing. Means he got actually success very quickly.
So you would say everybody has his individual 1000 Divya Yugas to perform tapasya.
Now you can make what percentage it is in Brahma's lifespan. And then calculate accordingly your percentage, taking 100 years as your lifespan.
Maybe blessing Lord Chaitanya, we can during one life understand that.
He also understood in one life only.
Very well. And Lord Chaitanya,
There is one story that when Lord Ramachandra was building the bridge over the ocean, so all the monkeys, they were bringing stones, because they actually constructed a bridge. And this was supposed to be one particular type of stone which is found there, and if you take this stone and put in the water, it floats. I saw it in America. Somebody has brought, actually, he was my professor in IIT Delhi, Dr. Subramanian Shastri. Now he's become a politician, and he's fighting against, because government wants to destroy this bridge which is into the ocean. And he has written a book, Ram Setu, and he had this piece of stone showing that how it was floating. What is written in Ramayana is not wrong. So it was actually floating in water. But it's like a porous type of stone. And he was proving with so many things that how the bridge actually was built. Because even Geological Survey of India, the scientists long ago, they said that it was not natural formation. But these coral reefs which are found in between, so they don't form like that. So scientists have done study of it, and they have come to the conclusion that it is not a natural bridge. It is artificial or man-made. So anyway, the story goes that when they were bringing big boulders to make this bridge, then there was also one squirrel which was bringing small pieces of stone. So she came, and when Hanuman was bringing a big piece, so obviously he was walking and he came on the way, so he kicked her away. Says, "What are you doing? What is this going to do?" So she felt hurt because Hanuman kicking away a squirrel. So Lord Ramchandra saw it, and he called Hanuman and he says that don't do this because you are powerful, but she is also using her power. She is also doing service according to her ability. And then he took the squirrel and stroked it. So that's why you see the squirrel has these marks on the back. Because it Lord Ramchandra's hands. Yeah. So anyway, the story says that whatever ability we have, if we use it in the service of the Lord, then He is pleased.
Question about crisis and future catastrophe, maybe world war, about Vedic knowledge. Ask maybe many people that, but what time? Some people ask that not live in big towns and go to the village and have some but village will be not so big, destroys like cities. But you know, I see internet, one guy asked that in this year in Hindustan will be many situation not good, kill leaders, politics, maybe some not good situation, and then in 2010 began Third World War, and to 4 years chemical atomic gun, and only half of Europe will be live, and will be Muslim, and Muslim will be control planet, but China will be very strong, maybe India and Russia will be opposite. What you ask, we must prepare some.
So you should become Muslim.
I think about this.
That is the best.
but he not in personality philosophy not interested. But what we must be go some house to the village, some have some products, maybe 1 year, 2 years, like to help children, not you to serve children, be not need about our body, but in future people must live. The children, what maybe your information about this situation?
I don't have any information on this.
Okay.
Because I heard these predictions many times.
There's so many.
It was also predicted that in 2000, which means 8 years ago, there will be a third world war and this will happen and everything will be destroyed and people were storing food. Nothing happened.
That's not important philosophy, this illusion.
But they've been saying for at least the last 2,000 years. So. The date just keeps getting pushed back.
Now it is 2000, some are saying 2012. It's the Maya calendar prediction. There is also one Maitreya, who is also saying that everything is going to collapse very soon. So, we'll see.
I was in river, this is Devaraha Babaji, and island. One disciple asked 2 years ago that we will be live in another body. I asked, he was Muslim, have money to kill anybody. He have pay money, but there will be maybe some situation, and we will be live in another body. I said, in this body, no, this many kind of body, in the liver, no living, not kind of human form. Maybe not this more like maybe other. I don't think the moment. Maybe change in the sick body, in the mind body. Maybe choose
Maybe. Anyway, important thing is to do devotional service now with this body. When we are living. What will happen after in 2010, we will see if we are alive.
Yes, so no problem in this body or in this body. Everybody so.
Okay.
No, that's okay. So many вот small этих mosquitoes in Vancouver, sometimes kill. It's what problem on the roof change up so many. And kill you must the next time it is full.
The curtain was not full.
So many. What to do?